She looks awful serious, don't she?
Yeah.
How many of you remember Sam Rayburn, Speaker of the House? He's dead. Did you ever see the mallet he used? Okay, you know, you're at the county fair and you got the mallet and you're going to hit the thing and make the... Yeah, his was bigger than that. All right, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. That's poor. Let's try it again. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Herrick. The only reason I'm cutting slack for Mr. Baldwin is that we now are members of an exclusive club, the Club of Father-in-Laws. That's true. Okay, and yes.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Yes, you do.
I'm going to run through our standard agenda, but as I did last month and the month before, I'm going to indicate the swap outs of our usual team members. Mark Georges, Colonel Georges, is attending a wedding in Chicago. Not his daughter's, that's later on in July. Substituting for Mark Georges, we have our treasurer, Kathy Toller. So she will be doing the video. Remember, if it doesn't work out right, we don't blame Kathy, we blame Mark. Okay. For the novice group, we're going to have Chuck Stiver will be sitting in moderating the novice group this month. Again, we had 3 people stand up, step forward, and take ownership of that. That's Bill Howe, Don Baldwin, Chuck Stiver, and then Don Bennett also does help with that. So, you know, it's been and at this point, since Don is eating a donut, I would ask him to say something.
You sound like this?
Okay, so the other thing is, instead of Mark Georges pulling the numbers, our membership chair, Tom Kurtner, will be pulling the raffle numbers.
Do you know good?
Okay, now. I'm going to go into the standard patter at this point, our meeting agenda. So, our schedule today. Let me get that. There we go. What I'm trying to do is create a document that we can email out to you that sort of has what we did in the meeting. It's sort of like meeting notes, not quite, but it just as a sort of a memory jog. And then it's also available for the people who can't attend the meetings. So the topic is going to be secure your Apple device. That's a very, very rich topic. I could spend many hours working with that because we have so many Apple devices now. What I'm going to focus on in the actual presentation is some white papers that I'll make available to you as part of the standard mailing. And then I'm going to focus on 2 antivirus programs. All right? One from the old school, Plan XAV, and then one from the new school, a new app from Norton called iAntivirus. Okay.
Let's go up the tongue.
No.
I can see that.
No.
Use your tongue, right?
Okay. Now, if you're working in an Apple store, it's I this, I that. You know, you're saying I all the time. It's like you're in the Navy. Okay, so let's start out with our standard presentation, and that is we begin with what's called the welcome. This is where we ask our guests or new members to stand up and just introduce themselves to the audience. We ask that they just sort of tell us what kind of Mac or computer they use and what they use it for, just real brief details, and then what kind of things they want to be doing with their equipment. I'm going to start with Christopher Lutzenberg. Sitting over there next to me.
I really don't have a Mac. I just use an iPod to get to the iOS ecosystem.
Okay. And what do you use it to do?
Basically anything I would use a laptop for. I mean, just web browsing and stuff.
The wave of the future. Thank you, Christopher. And then we also have, Chuck, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Chuck Wilcher. I'm actually a president of the Mac Users Group out in Mendocino, California that we founded in 1993. I also founded the Golden Gate Macintosh Users Group in San Francisco in 1986, I think it was, and served on the User Group Advisory Panel in 1990-91. I moved up to Mendocino County about 20 years ago where I do private consulting and I'm part of the Apple Consultants Network and have been for many years. I used my first Mac in 1984. Ended up putting 600 or 700 of them at the University of San Francisco, then went over to UC Berkeley and kind of did the same thing there. And then sort of got fed up with the whole UC Berkeley thing, moved up to my little cabin way out in the woods. Believe me, it was way out in the woods. And been lived ever since. So I'm back here for a year because my parents are kind of falling apart. Love to go to these Mac User Group meetings because not only is it a great way to meet a lot of people, it's also a great way to learn how to do those little things you scratch your head over late at night and think, boy, wouldn't it be great if I could just ask somebody such and such. So I'm a big User Group fan. I thank these guys for taking the time and all the effort in doing it, and we'll see. I hope they'll be around and maybe help out in the workshop. On your way.
You're a dead man.
It's been some years, so it's okay. Late night calls and all.
He's in the area for a while.
Yeah. We're shut down for 2
I
weeks.
have his
Feel that
email.
between your shoulder blades? You feel that?
Actually, I'm trying to specialize in
So
mobile
what I would
devices.
ask you to do during our break between the business part and our presentation part, say hello. Okay. Thank him for what he has done.
For all those Californians.
I was born and raised here, so
I could tell because
I'm scratching my head trying to find these places again, but.
All right, so we've done the welcome. Let's do the news segment. Now, again, what I'm trying to do here, and I think I'm succeeding, let me just bring up my club news items. And again, I'm going to modify this as we're doing stuff so that we sort of have it as minutes. Okay, item number 1. This is our last meeting before our summer break. Okay, so that means the next meeting is going to be September 8th, 2012. And I'm going to say it one more time. That means no meeting in July and August. So if you show up here, you'll be alone. Well, actually, you'll probably end up in the Bible study group and they'll feature you. All right, so remember that. Okay, Ernest? No meeting next month. No meeting the month after September. Okay. Next thing, club website has been moved. As you know, we're on the final countdown for Mobile Me. It's going to go poof. That's where the club website was. We've moved the club website. We have a new domain name. We are tmgdayton.org. And I would ask that you go out there and take a look at it. We have Mark Georges has been working with it. We've switched from using iWeb to using another WYSIWYG web browser editor. Excuse me, web editor. And it's Freeway, okay, I don't remember the name of the software, but they donated it to us and he's been using it to it. And he added a novice group page. So you can see the pictures of the people who stepped forward to help us with the novice group. Okay, now, item number 3, club membership directory. We're still in progress there. We're hoping to wrap it up over the summer. So our treasurer, Kathy Toller, will be trying to get that wrapped up in conjunction with Mr. Kertner. So if they're asking you to, provide a photo if we don't have one, I would advise you to provide them with a photo because if they don't have a photo, they will provide one for you. Okay, enough said. And then last but not, excuse me, item number 4. when Mark Georges came over to the house to drop off the raffle items, we ended up having one of these sidewalk conversations. And we're talking about the membership, are we meeting your needs, et cetera, et cetera. And we decided, we don't know. We don't know if we're meeting your needs because we don't know how many of you are using iPads, we don't know how many of you are using laptops, how many are using desktops. So over the summer, I've been tasked with sending out emails, individual emails to each of you to find out what sort of things you're using and what sort of things you'd like to see as presentations. And I've already started doing that, and what I'm hearing from a lot of people is they want to know more about the Apple TV and how you can use it with iPads. So I'll just mention that that's why we're being snoopy and nosy, asking you what kind of stuff you got. Okay, moving right along. Yeah?
You might also ask about presentations people would be interested in giving.
Yes. Did you notice who was the presenter this year at all 10 meetings?
Phil Schiller.
Yeah. So, I've decided that's a bad thing. I've been presenting too much. So, you know, we need people of quality. People who make really very, very good presentations. I'm looking at Shauna, and she's going, and I'm looking at John Galen. Anyway, so, and I'm looking at Don Baldwin. But there are, I know that this is not the Bill Herrick show, and it never should be. So we're gonna try and liven it up a little bit, get some other speakers in here, get some other viewpoints. Moving on from there, let's talk about what updates have come out since the last meeting. Now this one I got to sit and read and talk at the same time. So, updates from Apple. They've got Aperture 324. So that was released on May 24th. There's a new digital camera raw compatibility update. That was added May 22nd. If you're running a PC, QuickTime 772 for Windows. That's been updated. If you've got Leopard, May 14th, so that was right after we were talking about the flashback Trojan and that sort of stuff at the last meeting, they came out with a Leopard security update for Mac OS 10.5 to remove that Java stuff.
Now, is that for PPC also?
If you're running Leopard on a PPC, yes, there's one for that. If you're not running Leopard, no. In other words, Tiger, they're not doing anything.
I mean, with PPC.
Right, but you can always use that Norton utility that I showed the folks to vet the machine, make sure it's clean. And then on the same day, May 14th, flashback removal security update, and that's for a variety of different operating systems. 10.5 and above, and it'll vet your system and remove that if it's on there.
That's in the automatic software update thing, if you go through the software update.
Correct. Correct.
Does that kind of thing just come in and then sit there forever, or does it never get rerun, or is it kind of a one-time thing?
It's a one-time thing.
Power PC.
The one that the Leopard security update, if you remember, they had a security update that they released just before the meeting, which was for Snow Leopard, and Lion, of course, already had this in it. And that's to prevent that Java vulnerability.
Bill?
Yes?
I keep getting Adobe Flash Player or whatever it is, and it keeps trying to get itself loaded, and Mozilla keeps rejecting it.
Okay, you're talking about plugins in
Yeah.
Firefox?
Yeah, Firefox.
Okay, give me a sec here. Let me bring up Firefox.
I didn't intend to get you out of sequence, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it is a problem.
Yeah.
It is a problem.
How many years has it been since I was in sequence? I survived the wedding. I'm good.
Survival was the goal, nothing more.
Let me just look real quick here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Firefox Firefox 13, that's a new version.
Yeah, that's once again, it's for Intel.
Say again?
That's for Intel only.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's for Intel only.
3.6 is as high as the PowerPCs go.
Right.
That's, once again, that's not true again. Once
Okay.
again, you have to get the other version, which is privately done. It's not done by Mozilla.
Huh. It's a side project.
Side project, yeah. For PPC.
Yeah, they don't support
That's
PPC
right.
anymore.
That's right.
So those of you who are running PPC machines, this is gonna be the year when you're gonna start to see software that you use is not gonna be updating anymore for your
From
machine.
Apple.
Um,
There's a lot of side projects.
Mozilla will be, I mean, the PowerPC support is gone. There's nobody doing new stuff for PowerPC. The only platform I know where PowerPC chips are still being used are in automobiles. That's why IBM is still making them, because they're using them in car computers. But otherwise, not in the standard commercial enterprise computer market. In any case, hopefully you've got a version that's running. You go to your tools menu, and there's a item in there, a menu item called add-ons. And then what that's going to do is it's going to look at what you've got in the way of plugins, extensions. Help me out, Don. What else do they call them for Firefox?
Plugins, extensions, that pretty much covers it.
Okay.
Add-ons.
Whiz bangs,
Yeah, extensions.
doohickeys. You know, it might almost be time for us to do because you did that presentation for the club about 3 years ago about all the different extensions you can put into Firefox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be time to do that again, because they just amazing the stuff that the programmers have been
Yeah,
doing.
you can make that thing crawl, baby.
So, this is, the first item is if you want to put more add-ons on, and there's several thousand of them out there now. And then underneath that, where it says extensions, you click on that, it's going to tell you what extensions you've got. Come on, where's my mouse here? Oh, I know one. My very expensive mouse pad was not underneath the mouse. So here, I don't have any add-ons of this type. And then last but not least, plugins. So it's most likely a Flash plugin that's incompatible. And if you go out to the Flash website, you can get that update. Just as a reminder,
Links are provided right there.
the way that...
Bill, annoyingly, what Firefox, what Mozilla is doing is they're flagging people to update their plugins. People who are running the browser on a PowerPC machine, and there is no update. It's not smart enough to know that the latest plugin for Flash, let's say,
Okay.
is not available for PowerPC.
But they're telling you you need one.
But it keeps coming at you.
Oh,
That's
so
the
it's
problem.
just like with the other Adobe stuff where you've got Adobe Reader and you're running it in Classic and it keeps telling you to update it, but you already have the.
There is no update.
Okay.
So it's going to, I have not found a way to stop it from plaguing you with these update notifications. Even if you go
turn it off,
into press,
Yeah.
it still throws that yellow bar across the top
Okay.
and says, hey, you need to update. Well, yeah, no kidding. Write one for me and I will.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. President.
I turned off my warning on config. It told me to let light go down and double click. It takes it from a true statement to a false or what have you.
So you went into about config.
Oh, you did? Okay, all right. I haven't gotten that far. Okay.
Well, I looked it up. I got tired of seeing the bar up there, so I went in. So I did a keyboard search and it came up and it told me exactly how to do it. Went down. And
Okay,
clicked it.
all right, then what the man says, there is a way to do it. It's a little geeky for those who don't want to get involved in that, but yeah. So,
Okay. Reason I'm smiling is this is what user groups are all about. If you get enough people in the room and you ask a question, and you sort of tune out at the beginning, because it's, you listen to them say, give you the thing about, oh, and I did this and I tried this, you wait till they say, and then I realized the answer was, and then you pay attention and write it down. This is what user groups are about. Am I right? I'm right. Okay.
So you go to add-on manager,
You can ignore it.
Okay, where are you at, John?
I'll send it to you.
we go to add-on manager and then go down this list. And
That's
go
one
through
way
the
to
tree.
do it. The way I prefer to do it, if it's related to Adobe Flash, I go to my Apple, I go to System Preferences.
And then what?
I go to the Flash player in Other.
It doesn't show up there.
If we're talking Intel, and we're talking the modern stuff, it does show up.
Oh,
there.
okay.
Okay. All right. The reason why I do it this way is I'm using the Adobe Flash extension in System Preferences to take me to the Adobe website. Because guess what? There's all these wonderful people out there that have created these websites that look just like the Adobe website, but they're not installing what you think they're installing. So once you're out here, and this is, I really think, I'd like to sit down with the folks at Adobe, their interface folks, and just explain to them how normal people think and operate. To my way of thinking, updating this, doing that sort of stuff would be a primary thing, so you would have that first. Instead, they hide it away in Advanced. So I'm clicking on the Advanced button, and then there's a place where you can click to check what the latest version is. So you click on that, it then launches a web browser, it takes you to their website, and again, I want to talk to their interface people. It tells me that I've got this version. They show me what all the different versions are for different operating systems. How about you pay attention to what my browser is and what my operating system is and just show me the stuff for my machine?
Yeah, like other websites do.
Okay, now,
That's right.
does anybody see a download button?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
This little line in blue, Player Download Center, that's where you click. And then that takes you
To,
let me get my little pointer in
click on.
there. And it's loading. Then it takes you to where it knows your operating system, your browser, and you can click the download now.
Which is where you should have been in the first place.
Right. Then, okay, unlike how Firefox does its updates, where it basically downloads, it says, hey, I finished downloading, restart the app and you got the new one.
Yeah.
You click on the download, it downloads a DMG file, disk image file, to your downloads folder. And then what you're going to do is you're going to exit from System Preferences, exit from your web browser, open the DMG, and then have it install. But will it install if System Preferences is still open? No. Will it install if your web browser is still open?
No.
Yeah.
Do you have to restart?
That's a real good question.
You don't have to restart, but you do need to bring the web browser, quit out of the web browser, bring it back out. And then you get this thing about everything is hunky-dory.
Now, Bill?
Yes, sir.
For the people who are a little bit slower like me, every once in a while I want to view something. I'm surfing.
Mhm.
And it says Adobe Flash
Required.
required,
Yeah.
so I can't see it. And then they have a thing where you can click on it, but then it comes back and says, no, I'm mainly dealing with my iPad now.
Okay. iPad is not going to run Flash. One of the last things that Steve Jobs did before he passed into whatever realm he passed into
Sure.
was to say absolutely positively no Flash on the iPad. If you want to use websites that do require Flash, go to the iPad App Store and do a search for Flash web browser, or just plain old Flash. There are some web browsers that have been written by people smarter than me that have incorporated Flash into the code of the web browser. So they do a Flash emulation. Okay. That's one of the reasons why you have a YouTube app for your iPad. One of the major users of Flash technology for videos was YouTube. Well, Steve Jobs said no Flash on the iPad, so they wrote their own app for the iPad that would still allow you to do YouTube videos.
What about the next gen that was supposed to come along and make that unnecessary?
It's all HTML5.
HTML5, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you're waiting for.
I don't want to go down that path. If I had Mark Georges here, he could tell you more than you want to know about video codecs and coding of websites and that.
Can I ask a question while we're on that?
Yes.
My daughter was given a G5 iMac.
Okay.
Is it, from the conversation I hear, that it's pretty much useless for web browsing?
You're kidding me, they're awesome.
It has limitations, it's not useless.
There are certain software programs that are not going to run on it because they're expecting the latest version of operating system from Apple, which is Mac OS 10.7, which is the long.
Right.
Okay. I've got G5s at home. I use them for all sorts of stuff.
Because I talked to somebody, and they said, well, like, if she's got a Gmail email account, it won't work there anymore.
No, that's not true.
That's not
true at
true.
all.
I still have, I'm using them all.
Because he was saying he had a Power PC and the only
Google
thing.
Docs works just fine. You need to have an appropriate web browser. All right, so you want to either be using the, what was the version of Firefox for the G5s? The Power
Yeah, it's.
335?
Yeah,
3.26 or something.
Well, you get the app where there's a person that's been given a sword, you might say, from Firefox or Mozilla to develop it on his own. You have to go to like Google and then find it and then download it.
Or you use something like Camino. The
Yeah,
Camino
Camino's
still
not
has
being
a Power
developed
PC
anymore, once again,
version.
that's Mozilla.
Or what I've done on some of my
Safari, just
G5
use Safari.
machines is
Safari,
I've
that's
installed a Linux operating system. Because, again, Linux, it's a side project, but there's still people that are writing operating systems for it. But, you know, remember, I'm not a normal person.
I know.
Okay. Normal people would have Mac OS 10.4 or Mac OS 10.5 on it. So that's either Tiger or Leopard on their
I use
G5.
Leopards, you know, not Leopard, but Leopard.
Right. And they'd be using the Safari web browser that came with that.
That's fine.
And they'd be using the iLife applications that came with that. And,
iWorks,
I mean,
all works
Yeah.
great.
perfectly fine. It's only obsolete if you can't do what you want to do, or if the machine is so slow that it's not worth doing anymore.
Well, I mean, all she would be doing would be email, Facebook.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's good.
Okay, then I need to talk to somebody, because this is all new to me, and somebody said, no, it's no good after 6 years with a Mac, and that was like 10 years old, you're done.
I'm still using the
You're
Yeah,
talking to a guy that's still running Apple II equipment.
Okay, well, because here I'm trying to put another machine, a Windows machine for her when somebody gave her this real nice iMac, and I'm, trying to put a machine together for her, and,
Okay, but how good of a Windows machine were you putting together? What kind of processor?
well, I mean, it's.
I mean, were you gonna give her something with Windows 95? Or were
Oh,
you
no,
gonna give her
no,
something
no,
with
it's
Windows 7?
It's Windows Vista. I mean, it was a machine. I mean, I still use it, it works fine, and I mean.
Windows XP or Windows 7? Just stay away from this. Come on.
Well, that's what was on it, it was an HP machine.
It
I would
was
like to
a-
see her use the Mac myself, to be honest with you, but when somebody says it's no good and you're trying to figure out, because I've got Intel Macs and I figure, I'm up to date with all that stuff, but with that, it's a little older. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can try to
Okay.
get it so that she can use it.
Real world. I have no issues with my father, okay? And I'm saying that for a reason. My father is running at his house a G5 iMac. that I provided to him. I would not have given him that machine. I wouldn't have him using it for his email, for his web surfing, if it wasn't adequate.
Well, I mean, I turned it on and I changed the accounts because the people that gave it to her couldn't do that. I went in and I changed the accounts, it's got her names, her password, everything's cool. But the guy was saying, well, it's gonna cost you $200 to get it up to today's software, and you can't go to 75% of the web. And I'm thinking, well, how are these people selling?
You've got some really bad advice, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm here, that's why I asked, because I need, somebody can help me get it to where she can do what she needs to do, and then I would be
I still use the
tremendously
Quicksilver,
happy.
man, give me a break.
And you're still running Mac OS now, or did you go up to
I'm using,
Quicksilver
yeah, that old Quicksilver is,
10.4?
no, I'm using Leopard on it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, from the back of the room.
So where's the?
Using Safari on a Leopard machine, Apple's not updated the security on that in at least 6 months or so.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I figure the older the machine, the less you gotta worry about viruses, because they're all worried about the new stuff.
The thing is Safari, that version, able to connect with websites. And that particular version, if we're talking about that last version of Safari for Leopard, it had the anti-phishing features that you see in Firefox, that you didn't see in IE 6, Internet Explorer 6, but that you saw in Internet Explorer 7.
So you would still say it's okay for going to your banking sites?
I would probably put a copy of Google Chrome on it, because there is a version of Chrome that will work with PowerPC. Yeah, but they're saying for a banking website.
Once again,
But it's not the banking website you have to worry about.
Okay. Just a reminder, we were doing news. Anybody else have any news items they want to share?
Worldwide Developers Conference coming up next week.
Huh?
WWDT.
Ah, thank you, Sean.
It's Monday.
Sean is reminding us that Monday, Worldwide Developer Conference is going to open up, and we're going to probably hear some interesting things coming out of that. I would remind you, those of you who have iPads, you currently have iOS, iPhone operating system 5. See, I'm thinking August for Mountain Lion. Anyway, but Mac OS X 10.8 will be coming out in the July-August framework. And there'll be new hardware. I know, I've been waiting to hear about the new hardware so I know what I'm buying.
Big question on that is, if you want to install Mountain Lion, you're probably going to have Lion to do that, to do it up there.
Yes, yeah, but if I'm buying new hardware, I'm getting the operating system bundled with it. Yeah. But, you know, youngest son has graduated from OSU. Okay. Daughter is married. Okay. They're all over 21. I might have this thing called disposable income. Okay. So anyway, so there's going to be some news coming out next week from Apple about many of their future developments. Yes, Mr. Baldwin.
Inside information that you won't find on any rumor sites or anything, at least as far as I'm aware. I have from a reliable source, and this will concern largely the women in the group. Viking, Husqvarna, the sewing machine makers, are finally about to come out with a Mac version of their sewing machine software. This I get from a person who is a manager of a store that sells exclusively the Viking sewing machine line.
Now, are we talking the sewing machines or the sewing machines and the sergers?
I don't know if it was helping. Are there sergers that rely on
Yeah, they're the ones that do the embroidery.
No, that's
No,
embroidery
that's
that goes with the
embroidery.
sewing machine.
That's the sewing machine, not the
Not the
serger.
serger.
As far as I know, there are no sergers that rely on
No.
a computer interface. So I checked their website. I haven't seen anything about it, but as I say, I have it on excellent authority that this is coming.
Okay, what about their chainsaws?
When a chainsaw has a USB port, that's when I give up.
Okay, any other news? We don't know what's going to fight. Yes, Peter?
For the collectors among you, one of the last 6 Apple ones is going on auction next Friday, I think, in New York. And the estimated price is $180,000.
Yeah, Bill, you got me? That disposable income could be yours.
What was the model again? Was that the Apple One?
Yes,
Is it just the bare board, or is it in the homemade wood
it's in the
case?
box.
It's in the, oh, in the box, you mean
Yeah.
never opened?
No, I think
In
it
the
says,
enclosure, they put it in the enclosure, okay. You get more if they're still in the box, it's never. No, I don't have an Apple One. I've got Apple IIs, Apple IIIs, Apple IICs, Apple IIes, Apple II Pluses.
And yet he's still married.
But, okay. A cusp has been reached. I have under 100 computers now. I got rid of. I got rid of.
a 2-level basement, by the way.
Focus.
The warehouse, Ark of the Covenant, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, yeah, that's, except not that well organized. Okay, so let's move on to help desk real quick. Anybody running into problems this month? I already had John break open that can. Yes, Ray?
The 2 questions I gave you.
Okay, I remember one of the 2. The first question Ray had was he's got an Intel iMac, he upgraded it to Lion. Did you go directly from Leopard or from Snow Leopard?
Snow Leopard.
Snow Leopard. All right, so the question he had was, let me get Safari up here in front of it. This area, you've got your reading list, your bookmark manager, your top sites, and then you've got your bookmark bar with all of those websites that are bookmarked there. The order changed somehow, some way when he upgraded to Lion, and he wanted to know, how do I go about getting them back in the order that I want them to be in? So, what you want to do is, not the little reading glasses, but the thing that looks like an open book, you click on that. That brings you into, and again, we're in Safari, the web browser. Okay, we're not in Firefox. Safari, the web browser. That gets you into your bookmark manager. We've got a sidebar going on here. As you click on things in the sidebar, your display area changes. So think of that like changing channels on a TV. If you're on channel 2 and you don't see the channel 7 programs, you need to change the channel. Now in this case, I'm on a thing called Bonjour. So I would click instead on the one that says Bookmark Bar. Ah, Bookmark Bar. Now we're seeing iCloud. Oh, that's the first item on the bookmark bar. And then there's TMG. Oh, that's the second one. You want to change the order? You put your pointer on top of one of the items. You click once to select it, and then you drag it to where you want it. Now, some other web browsers, Firefox and such, have these neat little things you can say, just put them in alphabetical order by the name that you have on it, or put them in order by the actual URL. URL would be the HTTP or
At the top where it says
HTTPS.
bookmark, you right click up, or you bring down a little menu and it has those options.
Yeah, yeah, that's another way to do it. The other one that's here, bookmark menu, that's where you put the websites that you don't go to all the time. Maybe you go there once, twice a year. You know, Burpee seed catalog. You know, you only order the seeds once a year, but you don't want to have to go looking for it every time. So you put those things in there. So what I like to use in terms of a real-world analogy, your bookmark bar is like the Post-it note you got next to the phone where you got all the speed dials set up. You know, 1 for pizza, 2 for mom. So that's what the bookmark bar is. The bookmark menu is like the address book you got in the desk drawer. You know, the people's addresses, you don't write them every day, but when you need to send them a letter or you need to contact them, dial their phone number, you've got them in there. And then I use Google searches or Bing or Yahoo searches. That's like pulling out the yellow pages, the white pages. Okay? And the younger people in the audience are going like, huh? Yellow pages? You mean the app?
What are those things?
On the bookmark bar, can you just drag them right there?
Hmm?
In 10.8, you can drag them, I can't remember in the older version, if you can just drag them right in the bookmark bar. Or
Oh, you mean up
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Drag 'em
just,
around.
yeah, if I,
It does require a degree of
Okay.
coordination.
I have really, really poor small motor skills. So that's why I'm still a command line guy.
Well, Camino,
But yeah,
it's
you
a real
can-
easy Camino. But once again, that's pretty much.
So for example, if I wanted to bring that in as a bookmark, I could drag it down from the address bar right onto it and then say, what do I want to call it? And then just click in, take that out, click OK.
But you
And
can't drag it
then
on the
let me
bar.
try, oh, come on, just, there we go. I dragged it.
Good.
So,
That emerges correct.
once again, Shauna is correct. And Bill has crappy mousing skills. Ray, what was the second question, because I don't remember.
It was about those ads I'm getting on spring cleaning and that, the software.
Okay.
Is it worth it?
So, you know, the little ad comes up with the robot, you know, spring cleaning, mat cleaning, whatever. From my viewpoint, the one that looks like the large robot mat, their interface really is poor. The older folks that I know who have bought this stuff and put it on their Macs, they buy it, but then they can't figure out how to activate it. And if I do activate it for them, after it's there, they can't figure out how to use it. I would say no, it's generally not worth the money. There's a very simple thing you can do, which is simply start your Mac and hold down the Shift key. All right, now that's going to do a file system check and some other things, and that's going to rotate logs. It does some common Unix maintenance things. There are also programs such as Mac Janitor, Onyx, another program that's from Joel Frere out in France is called Maintenance. These are nice programs that do this stuff. Yes?
You told people how to do a safe boot there? Holding down the shift key?
Yeah.
Once you're in that mode, you really shouldn't do anything else but reboot into your normal.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I didn't want to
Correct.
leave people in safe boot mode.
No, and I appreciate the adjustment. We never correct people in the user group. We just sort of adjust what they say. Thank you, Tim. So again, when you're starting up your Mac, holding down that Shift key, you're going to get a progress bar. It's going to be doing all sorts of stuff. Then it's going to come up with a screen that prior to line would have in red letters saying Safe Boot. And then what you want to do is just immediately restart your machine, and now you're in a regular operating mode. Did I say anything that you would agree with?
What does that cause then? Would you say that does then?
Housekeeping.
Start you up in the Safe Boot.
It doesn't matter what machine you have done, like PC or otherwise?
Exactly, yeah. This is something they put in, if I remember, was Panther 10.3.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's doing stuff. File system check, FSCK.
Okay.
It's rotating the logs, it's deleting some stuff, it's deleting the symbolic
Clean up,
links.
yeah.
And then when you do a restart, it recreates a lot of the symbolic links and the other things that you need to have.
Okay.
So it's spring cleaning, if you will. Okay, but it doesn't cost you $150 or $75. You just start up. And it's sort of thing for normal people, maybe once a year you do that.
When you gave me a long back, the Unix one.
It's called Applejack.
Yeah.
You're coming up in single user mode. And that one I don't want to talk about because it doesn't work with Lion, it isn't going to work with Lion.
Sonny's do all that too. so that you don't have to do this, if you just run Onyx?
Yeah,
Okay.
Onyx has got that little maintenance button, you just say, yeah, do that. And if the Onyx interface is too much for you, Frere has a simpler program that's just called maintenance from his website.
Bill,
Yes?
when you have a computer with iTunes library, you have other computers in the house, can you transport your music to the other computers with home sharing, or do you have to do it some other way?
Okay. So let me launch iTunes here. Okay, so for those of you who didn't hear the question, you've got music, you've got more than one computer, you don't particularly want to put the music on every machine. Somehow you want to be able to listen to that music through your local area network at your house, your wireless network. So there's a thing in iTunes, it's called home sharing. There we go. I never can remember where they put it. I'm going to go into preferences here. There we go. Sharing. Sharing. Okay. So I'm in iTunes. I went to the application menu. That's the one that's right next to the Apple, and it's got the name of the program at the top. I went to preferences. So I have in this preference window these icons up at the top. As I click on them, I've got different settings that become available to me. So it's sort of like a sidebar, but it's up at the top. Okay. I clicked on the one that's called sharing. So I've got the share my library on my local network. Now this is not going to propagate outside of your local area network. This does not let you share stuff through the internet.
It's on the same Wi-Fi connection that you have.
Correct, or cable connection. So you click in this box, share my library on the local network. If you have this turned on, other people are able to see your library and are able to listen to the music or audiobooks that you have there. Movies, that sort of thing. But if I click down here, home sharing computers and devices, click OK, and then they're going to say, remember this is for personal use only. Now when I go into, I never can remember where they got that.
Where you were in advance, if you go down and then you go turn on home sharing.
Ah, thank you. Okay, turn on home sharing. Then I've got to put in an Apple ID and a password. Okay, and then people that are going to be using home sharing have to use the same Apple ID and the same password to access this. That allows you to not just listen to the music, but you can drag it from your computer onto from their computer to your computer.
Vice versa?
No.
No vice versa.
Right. You'd have to have home sharing turned on your computer and be sharing your library with them.
Then vice versa?
Yeah.
What's the Apple ID?
Apple ID, that most people know that as their iTunes Store ID.
Oh, jeez. You could have different ones on different computers, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can have a different, okay, for home sharing, they've got to be using the same Apple ID, but you can be using a different Apple ID for home sharing than you're using for when you buy things. Did they consolidate them, or did they just eliminate them?
They maybe go with just one.
Wow, that's a
Really?
good thing, because Apple uses SAP software to run the iTunes Store.
This was years ago.
Are you okay? It was the SAP, right? That's I understand his reaction.
Call it SAP.
No, SAP is, I believe, the largest software company in the world now. And it's Germany. It's yes, they follow a very...
What about Blofeld?
Anyway, it was about 5 years ago that we
Okay.
did that.
before.
Because currently there's a class action lawsuit against Apple from the Trial Lawyers Association of America. I probably have the professional name wrong. Anyway, but what they were complaining about is that if you have a divorce decree, there's no way right now for them to take the digital assets in an Apple ID iTunes account and be able to split them apart into separate. And there's no way to take them and merge them, but you're telling me that they were able to merge them.
Well, they did, that's about 5 years ago they did that.
Okay.
But now it's unsplitable.
Yeah. What would they do with a pet dog?
Split it, cut it in half.
Visitation rights.
Never mind.
I've never gone through a divorce, and I've got some very helpful people reminding me that we're running over for time. Okay. Please come to order. Well, I learned not to step away from my Okay, presentation. I'm not doing a PowerPoint today. I'm going to do just regular, run it, ad-lib it, talk. Later on, I'll put together what the notes are. The main topic is securing your Apple device. So, first thing I said to myself, who would know how to secure computer equipment? And the answer I got back was either the National Security Agency or National Institute of Standards. So I went out to their websites and I got some white papers that I downloaded. And I found some other stuff that they declassified that was sort of interesting too. Let me just get this up into... Okay, so I'm using Quick Look. Quick Look, that's a feature of the operating system that lets me look at documents without opening an application. So you're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 documents. There's actually 5 documents, excuse me, 6 documents. One of them I've got in 2 different formats. So the first one, and these will be made available to the members. We'll have them sent out in the email. This has to do with iOS devices, iPads, National Security Agency, Elton. Okay. Did you used to consult for him, Elton?
Yes.
Ah, I thought so. You weren't one of the guys with the cases with the handcuffs. Taking the...
I have to kill you if I tell you.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, did you used to go to the deli on Savage Road? No? Okay, I used to. Anyway, this is a document from the National Security Agency on how you go about securing an iOS 5 device. Now remember, they're securing it so that nobody can get into it, okay. So it's not necessarily what you would want to do with your iPad, because if you secure it this way, you won't be able to talk to the internet, you won't be able to do all sorts of things that you would normally use the device for. But it's a rather comprehensive compendium of what you need to be aware of. I would remind you that Apple has deliberately created this closed ecosystem for their iOS devices. In order for you to put an application on your iPhone or your iPod Touch or your iPad, your device, I'm not going to mention all 3 throughout the thing, you have to acquire it from the Apple App Store. They are checking out the programs, and they have kicked some programs out of the Apple App Store when they found there were programming guidelines that weren't followed, or they felt there were security risks in them. So it's a closed ecosystem. Over on the Android side, your Droid phones, your other tablets, they don't have this sort of closed ecosystem. So there's other things that can happen there. Now, there's a term I'm going to mention, and it's jailbreaking. Some people feel very constrained by this Apple closed system. they want to have more control over the device, so they will jailbreak it. When you jailbreak, you are putting yourself outside of this closed, protected environment, and many things can happen. So I don't recommend jailbreaking for normal people. So let me get back to where I was here. All right, so that's one of the papers. Another paper that I've got that's available, it's called Basic Internet Security. And this I consider to be sort of like, I don't know anything about the internet and I want to understand more, but I really don't need to know what the people who invented the internet know. So it's what normal people should know about the internet. And I've got it in both an EPUB format, which is suitable for an iPad or a Barnes & Noble Nook, or if you're running Adobe Reader on your Mac, you can use EPUB in that. And they talk about the various things to be aware of in terms of email, internet security. Little things like understanding the basic internet and what's going on, end-to-end encryption. Things like if your banking connection says HTTPS, you're going to be in a better position from a security standpoint than if it just says HTTP. All right, so that's the second document that we've got there. Then we've got a third document, Department of Defense Bluetooth peripheral device security requirements. Most of these devices that we get from Apple now have Bluetooth built into them. Bluetooth is a radio technology for sending and receiving data. Okay. Because it can send and receive data, that means that you can be able to put things on a device without other people knowing. I've been amused the last couple weeks as all of these revelations about Duco and Flame and Stuxnet. I don't think it was a U.S. product. Okay. And I know that the products were not distributed via USB flash drive exclusively. My understanding is that an individual with a cell phone that was very special that had Bluetooth was able to do a Bluetooth insertion technique to put that onto a computer with Siemens software in a Brazilian facility. And then when that stuff got shipped to Iran, guess what? They're updating their stolen Siemens controller software, and the stuff was already there. So anyway, just be aware that I did put on a document here that talks about how to secure Bluetooth. And again, I'm using the Defense Department, U.S. Defense Department. It's not the British Ministry of Defense. Then I thought, okay, let's go out to Apple. Apple gets beat up monthly by the security people that they're not very forthcoming and that they're ignoring all of the sky is falling, et cetera, et cetera. And they, of course, are just absolutely furious with Apple having this closed ecosystem for the iPad and the iPhone and the iPod Touch, because there is no antivirus software for those. Only use an account which is a standard account for your email and your normal things. Don't use an administration account. There's some very simple things that are in there.
Are you sending this all to us? Sending this stuff to us?
Yeah. Normally what happens is Mark Georges sends out what our deals of the month are. When he gets back from Chicago, I give this to him, he puts it with those deals and the new vendors and all that stuff. And then last but not least, another document, this time from Apple, which is how to secure Mac OS 10.6. This applies also to 10.7 and will apply to 10.8. And, you know, the nitty-gritty details on how to do this stuff. Come on, let me click off of there. there we go. And this is,
Is it just snow leopard nut?
it's the standard stuff that you need to know.
So it's leopard and snow leopard?
Either this is the stuff that would apply to OSX, whether you're talking about puma, cheetah, jaguar, panther. But they have some things specifically if you're a command line guy and you're going into terminal or gal. And you're going into terminal and you're going to deactivate some things. But these are the papers that Apple provides to people if you really want to know how to secure that stuff. All right, so with that said, those will be going out to the members. Now, the reason why I'm doing it that way, if I start talking about security and we start going into the nitty-gritty details, guess what? Most of you are going to get up and say, hey, nice talking to you, Bill. I got other things to do, because it's going to be very boring. But this way, you've got the details if you need it. Instead, what I would like to focus on today is on 2 antivirus programs for the Mac, and they're free, and you can get them from the Mac App Store. And the first one is called ClamXAV. Okay. Built into Unix, there is a Unix executable called Clam, command line antivirus for mailers. ClamXAV does not have any executables in it. It is an interface that lets you talk to the antivirus software that's built into Unix. Now, this is what I call a traditional or classic antivirus program. So, you've got some components that are here. The first one is you have an engine that's going to scan the files. And it's going to compare files against what are called virus definitions. Many people don't understand what virus definitions are. I'm going to use a real-world analogy. All right, great. You're a police officer. I'm your desk sergeant. I say, great, there's some bad guys out there. Go get them. And you're going to say to me, what do they look like? You know, are they tall? Are they short? Are they driving a car? Do they have tattoos? Do they have some known places where they hang out? All right, well, I hand you a wanted poster. This is what they look like, and there's a description on this wanted poster of where they hang out, what their height is, race, sex, all that good stuff. That's what a virus definition is. It's a description of the bad guys. All right. So, if I don't give Ray good information, he's not going to get a good result tracking down the bad guys. If I give him good information, he's got a better chance of tracking down the bad guys. So, one of the things that you do when you're using one of these programs is update the virus definitions. In ClamXAV, you would go to your Applications menu, and we've got 2 things there. We've got a thing to check for ClamXAV updates, in which case it would be, is there a newer version of the program? And the second thing is, look for virus definitions, update virus definitions. So I just told it to do that. It's now going out to an internet server, and it just updated those virus definitions. Okay, so now it knows what to look for. Now we tell it where to look. By default, it's got 3 places set up, and that would be in this sidebar. The home folder, so that would be the folder that's yours. When you log in, it's your folder, and that's where your documents are. Your documents folder or your desktop. Okay. Well, you might want to add something else in there. To do that, we would go down to the bottom of this sidebar, and there's a plus. You click the plus, and then it's going to say, what is it that you want to scan? Well, in this instance, I wanted to scan. Let me get back out here. I'm going to say, scan the entire hard drive. and then I'm going to say open. So now I've got another thing, it can scan the entire hard drive, if I so desire. And I'm going to add one other. This particular computer is used by more than one person. So that means there's more than one home folder on it. Okay. So in this instance, I want to click on the user folder, because that's where all those home folders reside.
If you're doing a whole hard drive, doesn't that include the home folder?
Yeah. But, okay. Do I really need to scan the whole hard drive every time?
Oh, of course not.
No. Typically, it's going to be either a mailbox or it's going to be a file I downloaded. So usually, I'm just scanning my documents or my downloads folder. Okay, so let's just have it click here on the home folder. Now I want to tell it to scan it. So then I go up to my toolbar at the top. I got a green button with an arrow. It says Start Scan. Right next to it is a red stop sign. I click on that. It starts doing a scan. So it's starting the scan. Down here at the very bottom, it's telling me exactly each file it's scanning and where it's located. And up here, it's giving me my little thing saying that it's starting scan, so it's doing its thing.
This is just doing it in Unix, right?
It's using a Unix executable to do this. So it's the Unix operating system using that executable doing the scan. ClamXAV is just telling it, hey, hi, I'm a user, would you please do this? Yes?
Did you say you got it from the Apple App Store, and is it free or does it cost?
It is free.
From the Apple App Store?
From the Apple App Store. You can also download it from Mark Allen's website in the United Kingdom. The version from his website is slightly different than the one that's in the Apple App Store. It's called ClamXAV. C-L-A-M-X-A-V.
Can you put a link to that?
SourceForge and places like that don't have it?
Hmm?
Places like SourceForge?
No.
They don't.
Bill, is TMG Presenter an administrative user?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Is it better to get it to the App Store, or like I just went on, ClamXAV, went to the website and downloaded it?
The one that's from the App Store doesn't allow you to have a sentry always watching anything that you do. The one that's from his website allows you to have a sentry. So if you insert a flash drive, it'll automatically start to scan if you're using the one from his website. Okay.
Bill,
Yes.
I've been using ClamX for years. I didn't buy it through Apple, so I got it from his website.
Yep.
And I think it checks, it's up in the top bar across the top, and I think I have it running continuously and checking anything that goes in or out.
The one from his website has that feature. The one from Apple's App Store does not.
Okay.
And there's some reasons why Apple doesn't want
Is that free from his website?
Yes, free from his website.
Is that
For those
something
of
that
you,
slows things down or not?
huh?
They slow things down as it's running?
Very, very minimally. Enough so that when I can't tell the difference between a system that's running Clam and that isn't running Clam. I would remind you, Clam AV is in the Unix operating system, and Apple doesn't tell you this, but it's doing some stuff anyway. Yeah. This just lets you specify, hey, scan this folder or scan this file, etc.
What was that? What was it?
When it finishes, it made that little Zen bell sound, a little tinkle tinkle sound.
What's his website now?
Just do a search for ClamXAV. And his name is Mark Allen.
Mark Allen.
Okay. If you're running a PC, there is a version of Clam for PCs. It's called WinClam. And that's the one you'll see out on SourceForge.
There was some notes in their materials about being cautious about doing a whole drive. I think they were
Yes.
concerned about recursive links and stuff.
Yeah, and it's generally not a good idea to be scanning the entire drive on a Unix machine. You want to stick typically with the user folders. Applications is okay, yeah. Application, I'd say out of library, I'd say out of system. ClamXAV is smart enough that it knows. ClamXAV is smart enough that it knows when it doesn't have permission to touch something, and it just moves on to the next thing.
Does this also cover it when you're running parallels and you got Windows in your machine?
No. If you're running parallels, and in parallels you're running another operating system, in that other operating system, in that virtual hard drive, you would need to have other antivirus, anti-spyware things going. All right. One other thing I just want to remind everyone, the reason why we put antivirus software on our Macs is not because we're threatened by a large number of viruses or malware, but rather we don't want to be like Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary was a cook in New York City, and she kept having to find a new job because the families she cooked for were dying from typhoid. She was infected with typhoid but was immune. When she's touching the food and cooking it, the family that eats the food gets typhoid and dies. So Macs are immune to almost, well, anything that's a PC virus that's out there. They're immune to that, and there's a very, very small number of malware that have been created by antivirus companies that might work with a Unix operating system. But the threat is much, much less than on the PC stuff. Now, one of the things that ClamXAV does not do that the commercial antivirus programs for the Mac will do, it does not repair infected files. All it will do is quarantine them. And for it to do that, you have to tell it where the quarantine folder is. So part of the setup with ClamXAV, you got to make sure that you've updated the virus definitions, and you also have to tell it where the quarantine folder is going to be.
How do you know that?
Okay, how do you do it is what
How do you
you're
know
saying.
How often do you have to update it?
Okay, you go into your preferences on ClamXAV, and in here we get preferences, and at the top we got the little icons. We would click on quarantine. I would say set a quarantine folder. In this case, I'm going to put it inside my shared folder, and then I would click new folder. Because I'm simple-minded, I'm going to call it quarantine. And I misspelled it. All right, we'll put it later. And I'll say open. So now it knows where to put an infected file.
It's just BAD.
Okay, so this is your traditional type of antivirus program. You got to do some setup yourself. You got to make sure that you tell it when to bring in updates, that sort of thing. All right, now I'm going to show you another product. This is a brand new product. It appeared on the Apple App Store about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, if I remember correctly.
Bill, how often on that last product, how often with ClamX do you need to update the descriptions?
Typically what I do is I have it set so that once a week it goes out and brings in the new stuff. ClamXAV is supported by, it's free open source software, so there's a community of people that have been supporting it for 35 years. We were using ClamAV on Unix boxes back 1974, 1975. So it almost predates BSD Unix. Because then we were passing mail from one university to another. And guess what? You know, as soon as you start passing mail, you're dealing with computer science people, graduate students.
Oh, boy.
Hey, let's try this, let's try that.
College students?
Yeah.
Is that what you call them?
Remember, Unix is what the universities have been using to run their mainframes. when you're in a university environment, it is not acceptable for the registrar to say, I'm sorry, we can't schedule the classes because the computer's down. Or the bursar, I'm sorry, we can't produce the bills because the computer's down. This is what's called mission critical equipment. It's got to be running, and there's more than one person using it. Okay. Get it up here and running. This is also available from the Apple App Store. Now again, this is the App Store for Apple computers. This is not the one for the iPads and that. It's a different App Store. It's from a company that you may recognize the name Norton Semantic. You know, Peter Norton, he's still living out in Tahiti. He sold out back in the, I want to say mid-80s, maybe late 80s, 1980s. He's been living in Tahiti off of the money that he got for his programs way back when. Now, this program does some nice things, but let me just show you. First thing, I'm going to go up into its preferences. All right. So, it can auto-repair infected files. So this thing can repair infected files.
Can you trust it?
So yes, I've tried it on a couple samples. It did very nicely taking some stuff out of Word documents and Excel spreadsheets and a couple other things. All right. Now, virus definitions. When they update the virus definitions for this, all of that's done through the Apple App Store. So the App Store will tell you that there's, if there's an update with the engine, the App Store will tell you this. In terms of virus definitions, it doesn't try and keep up the way that the other commercial paid programs do, but it's good enough for the Mac and it's good enough for a free program.
Oh, so this is free also?
This is free, yes. And it's got a very nice, simple user interface. So let me close this out. This is the preference panel. Let me go back in and get that back up, sorry.
Is it either or on antivirus or Clamex?
Say it again, please.
Is it either or? In other words, you
I
have
would
all-
not put Clamex and iAntivirus on the same box. They're both using ClamAV, the Unix extension. So it's sort of like having one employee with two bosses. You just have one boss per employee.
Do you think one is better than the other?
I like having all the little fiddling details. I mean, I use Linux. Does that tell you something? So for me, Clamex, okay, because I know how to go in and roll my own engine if I want to. For normal people, iAntivirus. Now, you can scan your home folder. So if I want to scan the home folder, I just click on this big house that's there, double click. So it's scanning the home folder. Ooh, 88 files scanned, no threats found. I click my OK button. Or if I click on one of those others, oh, I can scan the entire Mac. And it's got the correct permissions. It knows what not to touch and what to touch. Or, let's say I just have one thing I brought in and I want to scan that. I can point it at a particular folder or file and have it scan that. And it's got another feature. Okay, now, in the past, the number one way that malware got on your computer was through an email attachment. And then, for a while, it was from USB flash drives, until businesses started locking down the machines where you can't put a flash drive in. One of the increasing ways where bad stuff gets on your computer, and this is primarily PCs I'm talking about, but you know, let's be proactive here, would be through your Facebook account. How many of you are on Facebook? Okay. How many of you have heard of somebody, my Facebook account got hacked, or this happened, or that happened? So there's a lot of stuff that can happen. What this will do is, I click on this, It launches my web browser. It takes me to Facebook. I gotta log in here.
Some people would argue Facebook, that's not putting.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta log into my Facebook account. Okay. It was assuming that I had my Facebook password saved. You can't get it off. Okay, so there's this new thing on Facebook. It's the Facebook app space. So you could have apps in Facebook before. Now you have a regular space for it. What this is doing is it activated an app that's in my Facebook account that's going to check all of the links that are associated with my Facebook wall, making sure that everything was safe. So it's scanning my Facebook account and its links. And it just came up with links checked, 85 links shared within the past 24 hours. It's got an auto scan, and it's going through 28 Norton secured, 57 safe, no warnings, no cautions, nothing untested.
What does that mean?
That means I'm okay. It's something that Facebook rolled out this last week and a half. If you're on your Facebook wall, you're on Facebook, you're in your account. Okay, now, they keep changing this on me. Every time I figure out where stuff is on Facebook, they move it again. So there's this area called apps, and that's now called the Facebook app space. Because they plan on rolling more of these things out. I would remind you, Facebook just spent, a couple hundred bazillion dollars for something or other. Instagram, whatever.
I have all the apps. I have apps turned off, so that's I put in. So would I have to re-enable that?
No. When you're running this, you're giving it permission, the Norton, to run it on your
Okay,
apps.
because I don't want to hear any more about somebody getting farmed.
Yeah, I understand. All right, so let me just wrap it up here. So, 2 different applications to do the same thing. They're both free. All right. One, you got to configure. It's more of the traditional antivirus program. You got to make sure that you've updated your definitions, et cetera, et cetera. And the other one, which is also free from Norton Symantec, is pretty much an autopilot type of program. It's going to automatically update itself. It's going to let you do the same things that ClamXAV can do because it's using the same engine, but it will auto-repair files. And it's got a pretty good success rate at that. And I feel like I'm doing a television commercial, and this is about the Ginsu knives. And if you order now, it also will allow you to secure your Facebook.
If you decide you're in
The easiest way to remove something like that is to use a program, a free program that you can download. It's called App Cleaner, APP Cleaner. Now, in the old days, when you installed an application, it just was a thing that went into the application folder. Unless, of course, it was from Adobe, in which case it scattered stuff all over the hard drive. All right, so what this program, App Cleaner, will let you do is you click on Applications. It shows you a list of all the programs that are currently installed. I would click in the box in front of ClamXAV. I would then tell it to search for the components. So I'm clicking the little search button in the bottom. It comes up with these things that are part of ClamXAV. And then I would click the same space, only now it's a delete button. It would prompt me to authenticate, and it would then put those things into the trash. App Cleaner, it's a good thing, and it's free. No, that one you have to download directly from the town's website. And let me do a cancel here. We go up to App Cleaner Help and see if I can get his website up. No, there is no help for App Cleaner. We do about App Cleaner. It's, yeah, click on website. I think it's Jumpstart.
Free
Oh, okay, Free Maxsoft. Oh, I didn't know he did light icon. But it's Free Maxsoft is the company.
.net.
Yeah.
.net?
Yes.
I can't read it.
Free Maxsoft, no spaces, .net. Just like TMG is not a .com or a .org. Okay.
All these come down as like a disk image, and then you.
Yes.
Okay, that way you can actually download all these.
Right.
And then.
In the case of App Cleaner, it's a disk image, you open it up, and then you drag it into the applications folder in your install. So, I wish you a calm, profitable, restful summer. I will see you in September. Yes, Bill?
I was gonna ask, are you familiar with Lookout for the iPhone?
Say it again?
Familiar with Lookout for the iPhone?
No,
It's security software, I just wondered what your opinion on it was.
I'm not familiar with it. Send me, is that from the App Store?
Yeah.
Okay, just send me, go into the App Store and hit share with friend. It'll send me it and I'll take a look at it. Yeah. I'm still using, I'm a, big button cell phone guy. I don't even do texting. So in any case, I wish you a happy